Hello and welcome to Pardon the Interception, Season 33, Week 2 results with your hosts, myself, Leo Wood.
Myself, Nick Taylor.
And me, Simon Wood.
Okay, Week 2 came and went in a bit of a blur for me, but let's go and have a look at what we have this week to talk about. So, starting off in the GFL, we've got the Wildcats at the Quake, two teams we spoke about quite a bit last season, and the Quake managing to stave off a quarter-4 comeback from the Wildcats in this. Managing just to use their running game to push them over the edge here. Nick, anything to add?
No, it's just another good win for the Quake. They've got Kinnard there doing the hard yards, getting 7.7 yards per carry, which is good going. Backed up by Growl a little bit as well. He's also got some good numbers. They've done well. Defensively, they've kept the Wildcats to not too many yards, and good win for the Quake.
Simon, anything that jumps out to you?
For the Quake, we're using the Jonathan Miles cheat code. Their returner returning kicks for 70 yards. The old special teams. So that's what made the difference. Made those scores rather easy.
Okay, and then moving on, we've got the Gunslingers at the Mules, two coaches I know we have spoken about before. We've got Theo, the younger of the successful Whittingham dynasty, against Andy Bate of the pub, and the Mules looking like they possibly should have won on yardage, but coming up short at home with a narrow 2-point loss. The turnover differential may have been the key with this, or as Andy has put down, the kick where he missed an 86.1% kick by 0.6% on the roll. But hey, Nick, anything that jumps out at you?
I mean, 86.1%. There's still a 13.9% chance of missing that. So unfortunate. Yeah, the one thing that did jump out is St. John Daniel getting MVP award. Doesn't really seem to have done a huge amount in the game. Is there something I'm missing here?
He likely has the showman attribute.
He is a showman!
Oh, right.
So whilst he only had 8 catches, he was probably catching them with his teeth or something.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah. Simon, anything that jumps out at you?
I'm not a fan of this shoddy quarterback display. QB ratings are 58 and 34. Need some better talent in this league.
Especially when you've got a team called the Gunslingers, you expect them to be passing more and passing better. But hey,
he was trying to pass. He was just a bit crap at it.
There was a manly performance at running back.
There was a very manly performance.
Yeah. Right, and then moving on to the Atlantic, the first game we've got to look at is this beauty of a bowl, a Week 2 bowl. Always love one of those. Nick, what went wrong here?
I don't know, the guys just didn't turn up. I feel like I didn't pay Hill quite enough respect. I mean, I hedged a little bit on him, but not enough to stop him, and he's sort of run all over us, to be honest. Not much more I can say about it. The sad state of affairs.
Simon, how did you motivate your team to do this? Well, you mentioned there's a new Strom in town. Did you have posters of him up in the locker room?
I was a postman of Strom and a postman of Pat. That's how you deliver.
Postman Pat.
Yeah. The important thing here was that I knew I'd passed all over my last opponent. So I knew Nick would be worried about that. So I just shifted everything to the run game.
No, that's fair.
I knew I'd probably catch him off guard.
I mean,
And
I did put some effort into trying to stop the run, but clearly not enough, and I didn't put any breakers in for if you were running a lot to switch formation.
I just looked at, I look at what I did, and I'm like, if I was Nick, I would be looking to stop my short passing game. So what can I do?
We can't have our old players like Izzo doing all sorts to us. That'd be a disaster. So we had to stop him. I don't mind anyone else doing it, as long as it's not him.
I can't use your players against you, right? That's why I changed things up. Nothing to do with strategy.
To be fair, I didn't fancy our chances winning this one away. I think it's always going to be tough no matter what. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on to the second game, we've got the Sandhurst Generals at the Glenbrook Kings. A win here for the Kings, despite the yardages and possession showing a different story here. Once again, turnovers seem to be quite key here, with a turnover differential of 6 to 4. Simon, let's start with you. What jumps out of you here?
Just that yardage followed by that score is the thing that jumps out to me there. The Kings look like they probably got a bit lucky in this game.
How did their return game do, though? That's always the question. Much better on the
returns.
Kick returns, much bigger though.
Sure. So
sorry, I was looking at long, not average. But average, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not massive.
70-yard returns you see some people doing. So it kind of just looks like they probably turned over the ball in the correct places on the pitch without looking fully at the game. Whereas the other probably turned over the ball at the wrong bit of the pitch.
Nick.
Yeah, I have to say I have to give Clay credit for his defensive performance here, because he's pretty much done the hard work of putting in the sacks and forced fumbles there. I think the defense has got on top of the Generals a little bit. It's an aggressive defense. You're gonna give up some yards and what have you, but actually, like that can turn the game around as well. Like if you get aggressive and get some good field positions, that can make a big difference.
Okay. Moving on to the Big Sky. The first game we've got here is the Berlin Fire at the Mount Dora Massive. Simon, what made this game initially jump out?
It looked like a massive game going into overtime. Both teams looking to fire at each other, and it was quite the finish. If you quickly check out the play-by-play, it's quite the interesting one in the overtime, where the Fire have it, do nothing, punt it. The other team get it, punt it. The other team get it back, and then get a blocked punt, which then decides the game because the other team get the ball on the 16-yard line. So you look at the very last. It's just the last bit is quite the nail biter.
Blocked by Shield.
Nice.
They both had a go, but then that blocked punt really decided it.
Yeah.
I think this one was heading to a draw without that blocked punt. One of the very rare gridiron draws.
Okay. Nick, what jumps out at you about this game?
I mean, it's a big win for the Massive, I think. And I vaguely remember us covering Rasmussen a fair bit last season, and it looks like he's started the season off well, like 10.9 yards per carry again there. So he looks like the man who's going to do the work for the Fire this season. Close game. I don't think you can be too disappointed if you're in the Fire camp. Obviously, a tough way to lose, but an away game against a team that's going to be up there and competing for the playoffs, no mean feat.
Okay, and then the second game we've got to look at is the Huskies at the Rapiers, with scores only happening in threes. Simon, what went on here?
It's a defensive masterclass by both teams, or an offensive shit class, depending on what you want to believe. Neither offense could really get too much going, and the ball just kept kind of merrily just meandering in the midfield. It was which I quite enjoyed watching. It's like, oh, somebody going to get a kick. Oh, and they both had 3 attempts at getting 3 points. So they had a very close game.
And you've got a nice team record being set here as well. The punter earned his pay packet with for the Rapiers with 594 punting yards.
That's a fair few yards, isn't it?
What's interesting is the Huskies punter did basically the same, but it wasn't a record. Which probably says something about Andy's history.
Yeah. How many yards did he punt for? 518. So it could be only a few yards short of the record.
Maybe.
Yeah, Nick, anything that jumps out at you?
No, it's just a all-round great defense display. If you look at the play, like Lincoln's quarterback completion percentage is under 30%, and their running backs had 38 carries at only 2.6 yards per carry. I mean that's pretty huge what the Huskies have done there to shut them down completely.
And the quarterback still got a better rating than the one from the previous game.
Yep.
Who couldn't complete anything and should just handed it to the running back every time.
They just threw it out of play. We're just getting completions instead of interceptions. So at least something.
Okay, moving on. We've got the Continental. So we've got the Arctic Badgers at the Black Mountain Thunderbirds. Nick, what brought you to this game?
Strom. I mean, two teams that are very strong, and I thought take a look at this game and see how it's panned out. And the big thing here is the Thunderbirds have pretty much shut down that Arctic Badgers running offense. I mean, Anguta's got good yards per carry, but in general, like it's nowhere near where it usually is. I mean, Anguta's normally like 250 plus, and Strom normally tags in for 100, 120. And the Thunderbirds have pretty much stopped them from doing very much here. Big win for the Thunderbirds and a big statement for them in the sea.
Simon, anything that jumps out at you here?
Is it the Black Mountain Thunderbirds or is it the Black Mountain Thunderbirds? That's what I want to know.
I believe it's the Black Mountain Thunderbirds.
You're not meant to answer that question, Lee. Come on.
No. The people at home, they want to know.
The first half is very interesting. It's kind of both teams doing largely nothing.
Oh yeah, I will say that after half time there was 20 minutes where the Thunderbirds were just like all over this game. They just banged in like 5 touchdowns in 20 minutes roughly.
I wonder if that's the optimizer kind of moving them away from the pass and onto the away from the rush and onto the pass.
I think it was mostly defensive. Defensively, they got in some good positions. I think there was a sack deep in Badger's own half. They got that one sack. No, they got 3. One of the 3 sacks was like.
If you look at the scores, you've got a 97-yard kick.
Oh yeah, that was the start.
And then you've got 3 more touchdowns within 6 minutes.
Yeah, so they kicked it off with a kickoff from the kickoff, returned it for a touchdown. Then I think it was a sack, but where they were only like 10, 6.
They got 10 yards to go on that one.
Yeah, and then they just scored another touchdown. It was just like that was pretty much game over in a tight game, really.
Yeah, they got the ball at just over the halfway line. Yeah, they're getting great field position.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to add, Simon?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on, we've got the Renegades at the Monarchs. Nice close game here. Nick, talk us through this.
Yeah, another 2 teams that are normally up there and battling out for playoff contention, and I think it shows how much more effective it is to have a bit of a run game as well as a bit of a passing game. The Monarchs have put up good yardage in the past, but without that running game to sort of balance it out a little bit, it's maybe cost them here. Renegades running back Essence has done most of the work. 6 yards per carry is pretty good. and then the quarterbacks have sort of just helped push it along. Very good game from the Renegades away at the moment.
Okay, Simon, anything further to add?
Yeah, it looks like this was a bit of a last-minute steal for the Renegades. Probably a bit of a nail-biter on watching the play-by-play. Or were they ahead going into the fourth quarter, Nick?
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Let's have a look at the scoring things.
They were well ahead. They were 10
They were
points
ahead, yep.
And then they had a last minute score to put within 3, but that was out of time.
Okay. Anything else to add, Simon?
Nope.
Okay, the next game we've got is in the Delta. We've got the Hammer Sharks at the Robber Barons. Simon, want to talk us through what you see here, apart from Sacramento actually getting some running yards?
It's nice to see them actually putting a running back on the field that can run with the ball. Not just relying on a really awful quarterback to get all their yards for them. I wonder if the Hammer Sharks actually kind of put their starting running back on the field this week. Did they leave him on the bench again? They do have a habit of doing that. Mr. Smith, he loves a running back on the bench, especially in the playoffs. But yeah, maybe that changed things. The overtime win, but two passing offenses going at each other, and Robber Barons probably getting slightly lucky. But
is the Hammer Sharks a deep zone or short zone passing offense?
Hammer Sharks, I want to say short zone.
Yeah, which can be the difference in a shootout battle, because you don't get as many of the 30-yard chunks in single plays, and kind of plays out in the average completion yardages as well. The Brochures getting 12.5 and Pope only getting 8.
Yeah, that was a lot of interceptions, which will be because of the slightly ropey quarterback that the Robber Barons run. So on those deep passes, it is a lot easier to intercept it. But then
Nick,
they do go for a lot of yards. So,
Nick, anything you want to add?
Yeah, as you say, the interceptions have almost got them into the game there against Brocious, but that sort of Robert Barron's passing game has done quite a lot of work there with Casey and McMillan putting up pretty good yards to get the win, really.
And they had a tough mountain to climb, 21-3 down, and they managed to really put on some fireworks near the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the second game we've got to look at here is the Silverbacks at the Massacre. I'm not entirely convinced the defense has turned up. But when a team passes for 515 yards, the other passes for 410, and neither of those are a team record, you know that these are teams that are focusing on the offensive side of the ball. Simon, what else can you make out of this game?
The Silverbacks coach isn't called Dave Downtown Brown for no reason. He has an offense and no defense, and it is my kind of gridiron. He will chuck that ball as far as he can, and it's quite fun watching. Bit of a topsy-turvy game, but I love the symmetry of the scores. Would have been better if it was a 0-0 overtime.
Do you think we can possibly see Dave Brown picking up a running back at some point?
No.
Okay.
That's not his wheelhouse.
Nick, anything you would like to add?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered it all. But it's another overtime win. A lot of overtime wins this week. A lot of close games.
What I'd like to point out, Lee, is how many running backs Dave Brown actually tried in this game.
4?
4, yeah.
So he has a running backs
and 2 touchdowns for them. I'll have you know.
They just don't do very much apart from get the ball in the end zone. He has like a specialist that runs at the line and does that massive jump over it.
Bang it in from 1 yard. Got to get those 1 yards, run it in.
He's a 1 yard specialist, Lee.
Yeah.
Okay. And then onto the Empire. Nick, we've got the Claymores at the Lions.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting week in the Empire. I thought there were a lot of games, and I've had to veer away from our our usual Jacksonville High Hunters and the Thundering Herd. Both games definitely worth going and checking out if you haven't already. Two very close games there. I thought I think we looked at the Lions a little bit last season. They got a bit behind in their record last season, so they're doing a bit of catch up, which didn't quite get there. They've started off this season 2-0 against a very good Claymores team. A little bit defensively, a little bit of passing. It's a little bit of everything this game, and it's a very close game. And that those the early start to just get ahead, and they've managed to just keep ahead. The game has done the world of good here. And a great quarterback rating for Carter as well. 3 touchdowns, only 2 sacks, no interceptions, 77% completion rate. I mean, that's gonna do all sorts for you.
Simon, anything further to add?
It feels like one of those games that could have gone either way, a bit of a coin toss. Although the Lions had the slight upper hand on the kick returns, returning for quite a few yards now, which probably just edged them ahead in this game. But please do comment on your games. Come on. What's the comment?
Hey. And then the second game we've got
other games with the most comments from now on.
I mean, it's an option. We've got the Monarchs at the Hurricanes for the second game in the E. Nick, what brought your eye to this?
Yeah, another close game. Another 2 teams looking to get ahead early on. The Monarchs got out to quite a big lead by half time, and then the Hurricanes came in like a hurricane during the second half and stole it from them.
Is there champion spirit here to stay?
For sure. And it's another passing duel here. The quarterbacks have thrown over 350 yards each. The Monarchs quarterback has looked very impressive, with a great quarterback rating there, 113. I think, yeah, it's sort of. I think it's the defense that maybe have just about won them, because if you look at the turnovers there, 8 fumbles. I know 4 are recovered, but that's a lot of fumbles for one game, and that's probably going to cost you in the long run throughout the game. That's probably make a distance.
Couple of forced ones as well.
Yeah, so I think the Hurricanes, they've done their passing job, and it's another one of those ones where get a little bit aggressive on defense and cause some turnovers in some good positions, and that can be the difference.
Okay, Simon, anything to add?
I think the Hurricanes greased up the ball a bit for this game. That's my theory anyway. Bit of cheating.
The running back certainly struggled to hold on to it, though.
Okay, brings us to a slightly abridged season episode this week. Nick, before we end, anything else you want to add?
No, just like it's getting me back into the game again. You have the off season, you're a bit laid back, and seeing some close games in the C and E is pretty good. So yeah, good luck
Simon,
this week, guys.
Apologies, Simon. Anything you would like to add?
What happened with Pat this week? That's what everyone wants to know.
See, I told you to go and look at those games. I don't want to reveal the results, but you got to go look at. I mean, I will say there was over 90 yards in the Jacksonville High Hunters game, and over 60 yards in the Kings Thundering Herd game. So if you want to go check out another league, I recommend the E. There's a lot of great games this week.
Okay, so that's it. That's goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, with that, that's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from the E.